it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful, empowered harmonizers. And we are zooming in and focusing in today on a very important and crucial topic when it comes to healing through very difficult, confusing, bewildering relationship issues and the dynamics such as you may have experienced with someone who is emotionally manipulative, narcissistic, psychopathic, someone who has really been undercutting you and making it difficult for you to not only just, you're carrying their weight and you're trying to really actually tune into your emotions and your weight. And so before we get started though, I really want to give a huge shout out to those of you who have recently donated and contributed to the channel. Thank you so much. Whoop whoop, we have the Netherlands in the house today. Much love to you, love you so much. Thank you so much for connecting and being a valuable participant here on the channel, because it's viewers like you that make it very worthwhile to continue to build the lessons and to see the steps and progress and awareness that you're really coming to and getting things back on track. So thank you so much. It's amazing to have the Netherlands in the house here today, all the way across the globe. We are here in the United States. So it shows you the topics that we're discussing really transcend cultural bounds. And here in the US, there isn't a lot of resources or networks in our healthcare system. I mean, we have a very fabulous economy, healthcare system, etc. But when it comes to this, there's a very small interdisciplinary team that would really, focus in on this. So it's my goal and objective of the channel to really dive in and be expansive on this. So thank you so much. Also, we have the Philippines in the house. I recently have connected and received donation from someone in the Philippines. Thank you so much. It's an honor and a privilege to be having you and your viewership. Again, across the world, the Philippines, very gentle, kind, supportive people I have found in my experience here, and always very giving and really find themselves, I would say, to be the caregivers in their culture. And each culture has its own norms and things that they're built into, whether it's in Hawaii, Korea, Japan, China, the United States, and sometimes in some cultures, it's just kind of like the original sin where you feel like you're born into a situation that is emotionally grappling for you. But we're going to really zoom in and focus in today. And thank you so much. Love you, Philippines. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to connect here with you. It's absolutely amazing. And so I want to zoom in and focus in today really on a new aspect of understanding. It's becoming very relevant and apparent to me that a lot of viewers have been in relationships where they serve as the caretaker, the caregiver, really ultimately the rescuer. When you are finding yourself to be an emotional match with people who will take advantage of your good nature. Now, the psychopath, that is like a home run, grand slam, landslide victory when they find themselves in confines or in proximity to a caregiver, someone who is going to rescue them. So if you find that you are one of those people where you're filling an emotional void within yourself, essentially you are filled up when you are in a caregiver or rescue mode. In other words, there is something going on, a perfect imperfection with this person. They have a lot of emotional baggage. You find that you want to carry their bags for them. You want to open the door for them emotionally. You want to take care of them. And within this, you begin to feel that you're going to then receive like in return. But then you become disappointed because when you're dealing with a narcissist or a psychopath, these are the takers. These are the people who are going to take advantage. They're going to be absorbing a lot of the good stuff and not giving any in return. In fact, when you want to come and speak up or be happy or show your successes, they're going to try to boo you off the stage. they're not content or secure enough to be empowered and have others empowered. So they're the ones who are so full of themselves that they just want to push and shove everybody off of, off the floor, off the stage, off the limelight, and they want it to be all about them. And if they don't have it all about them, they will resort to ways to get you to feel that you have to rescue them, or the woe is me. You'll hear a sob story. But there's, again, they'll keep trying to pull you back to take care of them in that way. And that's where the love bombing takes place. So when you're in a very dysfunctional relationship, this person could have an illness. They could have family issues. And you go, oh, wow, here's a fixer-upper. I love this. So it tends to fill you up. In other words, once again, if we look at the, in terms of percentages, it is then when you're listening 80%, 90%, and you're not able to then speak up and be supported yourself. So in other words, when it's all about supporting them, those are the hallmarks, those are the derivatives of codependent and enabling a narcissist or a psychopath. And when it comes to rescuing others, like we were saying in a previous video, if you're constantly trying to amend, take care of, and be responsible for the evolution, the emotions, the outcome of this other, in other words, you're walking on the eggshells because you're not quite sure your next move, how you should take care of them, it's a good sign and signal that, your boundaries have been violated and that your identity is now organized around and essentially dependent on taking care of this other person. So we can be in relationships, being it a parent, being it a spouse, being it a sibling, where you take care of them. I mean, they might need some support. They might be great conversationalists. But yet they're, this is the give and take. This is the natural interaction in relationships. But if you're finding that this person is then harsh or edging you out, or when you begin to make strides, then they're going to try to embarrass you. They're going to make some sort of rash comment all of a sudden, out of the blue, in public, on a text when you're happy, and then next thing you know, you're getting a sort of response. I'm not going to go here with you. I'm not going to do this. And then it kind of blows your mind that, you didn't see this coming, and then you feel the bad, you feel like the crazy one, and you're always trying to work to pacify or acquiesce to their needs. Now, this is a very, very uncomfortable thing. And so when you realize that perhaps if you are too much in the rescue mode, if you are empathetic, so most people who are a great match or a target or great supply or target to a psychopath are the sensitive, caring, empathetic people. So the people with the good heart, the people who want to give. In other words, they are alive. That makes them tick when they're able to give to others. So when a narcissist or a psychopath comes upon these people who, are naive or green to being taken advantage of, then they'll find that they can get a lot out of this person and not give a lot back. So in other words, the relationship, what you're getting back is the giving. Does this make sense? We're diving deep. This is a little bit complex, but I think this is a really, really crucial and important and key concept for you to understand is the rescue mode, because people then become addicted to the rescuing. They feel like their self-worth, their self-esteem is caught up in how well they take care of others. So self-care, quote-unquote self-love, which i.e. means, having a positive self-regard and self-esteem, i.e. your self-value. It doesn't mean that you're full of self and kick around and negate others. It means you're full of yourself, but you also love and can reflect others who are positive in nature. So the two of you can shine together, the 3, the 4, the 5. In other words, there's not this jealousy. When there's a jealousy and projection, emotional manipulation, and this sort of like, now you've got to rescue me, I've got a lot of problems, the relationship becomes all about their problems, and there's none of the good stuff. So it's a rescue move. So ask yourself and look within your heart to say, have I been in this relationship and maybe tried to rescue this person? Get them the gifts, get them a place to live, take care of their extended family, take them in as if they are my own. You had the sort of parasitic psychopath who is looking to absorb the energy of others and treat them almost like a decoy or a shield, where you are there to protect them. You are there to protect and be the person that gives the appearance that they're in a relationship. The psychopath is very adept at moving through organizations, people, relationships where they have the appearance thereof. But as nothing, there's no bottom there. There's no foundation. There's no emotions. So if they can surround themselves with people who are very rich in caring, emotions, giving, and then want to rescue or help, like we've spoken of and discussed in previous videos, the psychopath oftentimes will look and prey upon those people in the beginning when they have a sob story. I just got out of a divorce. My wife did this. My husband did this. I just got out of this job. My industry here. And then it's, can you help me? So you've got this sympathy ploy, and that's especially how the psychopath and the malignant narcissist will get into your heart. So even though this is a natural inclination, you can have a heart for others, and it doesn't mean that it's going to go off kilter, out of balance. You have to rescue them. It's that they have footing of their own, and you don't have to carry their weight to be as your weight. So in other words, you have a sense of pulling your own, and you know what your own is, and you don't just give it away. You don't just, have a sense of lack of self-protection. You protect your borders. So the narcissist and the psychopath will give the facade, the false appearance thereof, oftentimes in very sophisticated and multi-level ways, where you'll be in almost, I would consider it like a shell relationship. It almost very much feels like that. And that they don't have any celebration of your success. So in other words, the other way is when you rescue, there's a rescue feeling of them. And then the feeling that, why aren't you getting the love back? Why aren't you getting the appreciation? Why aren't you getting validated? Why aren't they applauding your success? Why aren't they, whoa, that's groovy for you, excellent. Why don't you hear that? Why don't you feel that? Why don't you get that back from them? Because to do that, it would be to cast your own light into them. That is a threat. The narcissist and the psychopath, they're only going to validate in a way that the psychopath in a way that's extremely superficial. I mean, it's something you can feel. That they're not really there. There's an energetic vibration off of them that is very different. It's very cool, calm, collected, and not very impulsive, and unless they're on their rant or they're on their psychopathic rage, where they're really on their dopamine high and they're going after somebody or something, and they're really kind of in their aggressive pursual mode. So, you'll get, a very sort of limited palette of emotions with a psychopath. You'll get their high energy, dopamine aggressiveness, where they're just, plowing forward and they're full throttle in the relationship. And then, they're into other things as well, but it's that they're hiding their behaviors. They're hiding a whole aspect of themselves. They're hiding a whole aspect of their calendar, their feelings. The malignant narcissist as well. They're not going to give you the real feelings. They're not going to be able to commit to you. They're just going to be there for certain superficial things, and they will not hearken or hear to your voice or request for more. They just, they might string you along. I mean, that is the problem. And when you're trying to rescue people, you then are accepting to be strung along for a relationship. And then until to the point is great enough, and then you may perhaps expose them, or you feel that you're not getting certain emotional, you're not hitting on certain emotional areas with them. You feel that something is missing, or you feel that they are just not supportive of you. Oftentimes it's what they're not giving you is because of an inherent insecurity within them. And so when it gets to the point though, that you have listened too much to them, you've rescued them too much, you've been there too much, they have filled the void within you, you have to then turn it around and say, okay, this person is not going to fill a void within me because I do not have a void within me. I am enough. I am what I am looking for. My joy and emotions are complete. I have a full spectrum of emotions that I am in control of and I have mastery over. And this void does not cause me now to want to rescue others. So oftentimes if you look back on your journey and look back at sort of the course like a blueprint, and if you can see at this date and time we started here, and I was here at this little causeway, or I was here at this crossroads in my life, and I could go down the valley, or I could go up the mountain, or I could go back here into the craggy foothill. I decided to go down into the valley. That was my choice and my decision. I'm going to go and rescue. This is what felt right for me because of a void or an emptiness within me. So I entered into the valley. I entered into my own emptiness or need to be filled up for some reason in the relationship. So it's very important to understand the cause that has created the effect, this moving forward into kind of the rescue mode. And for each of you, there's going to be, I would call it like a germination or a seed moment where looking back in retrospect in the privacy of this video and kind of the consciousness and awareness now knowing that what you know in the course of that journey and how you made your decisions, let's look back now with a sense of neutrality and indifference and see what promulgated or what thrust you into that relationship. Was there something within you that needed to be healed or resolved? Was there a lesson to be learned? Was there a void? So when we talk about a void, we can talk about really something that was missing. Perhaps a lot of this stuff that we discuss here on the channel goes back and harkens back to something that was missing in childhood. In other words, you couldn't enter into a specific time in your life with strong legs, with strong security, with knowing your purpose, with knowing your self-esteem. So if that was not given to you in your birth years, years 0 to 5, 0 to 7, if, you were taught to attend to and rescue your parents, your caregivers, your older siblings, you always had to, check them out. They're drinking too much at the end of the day. Everything must be wrong. I at age 5 to 7 must be aware of my parents drinking. Why is the door slamming? Why are they angry? Why are they in the cabinet? Why are they drinking these big tall glasses of martinis and they seem to be not giving me attention and they're shutting me out? So I must go scurrying along and I must attend to my parents and I must be almost like a parent, a super ego to them while they're in their impulsive childhood id drinking where they're needing to, heal their own issues. They're drinking themselves into oblivion. They're eating themselves into oblivion. Or they're shut out watching TV and they can't attend to you in your childhood. Or perhaps they had a lot of moodiness and they couldn't be on your level the way that you needed to be nurtured and cared for. So if that happened, you're going to have this void. You're going to have this feeling of emptiness, that something is missing, that you're not cared for, and that you're set up on the path to caregive to others. You have to be a parent before your time. Your innocence has been lost. In other words, you couldn't go along. If we look at the blueprint, like rolling out and unscrolling the map, like a national treasure, I should go here and up here, and then this is the good life. This is where things work out. This is where people are positive and I am valued and validated and I can enter into prosperity and have good, healthy relationships and things are essentially okay. Yes, everything happens in life, things yada yada, but for overall purpose, things are good. Versus entering into life is a struggle, divorce, I've lost my house, I've lost everything, I've had to claim bankruptcy, I'm emotionally bankrupt. People are fighting all the time. People are drinking or drugging out of control. They're sexing out of control. People are getting into breaking the law. I mean, that's the valley, that's the valley moments. It's time to say, okay, what is the fastest route out of this valley? I don't want no big rocks. I don't want no slippery slopes. I don't want the torrential downpour and, the tears and the crying that's just like the mudslide. I need it to be paved. Like, I need to, get back my footing. And really that is what this is here. To get your footing is to understand the cause that has created the effect of perhaps this rescuing or falling for or needing to be rescuing others as a way of filling yourself up and having your self-esteem based on that. Again, that is external locus of control. When we first began this channel, we spoke very heavily about that. And this is another crucial element or part of that. So when your external locus of control, meaning that anything or anyone, again, anything or anyone is controlling your self-esteem, then that is an external locus of control. So if you are making your self-esteem based on that, that is to commit to really essentially a life of struggle, because to take care of these people who have lack of empathy and lack of compassion is to set yourself up for disappointment, failure, feeling again something is wrong with you, you did something wrong. It is to basically keep in the valley, to keep that wool over your head and not see what you want to do and feel and become. It is to stay, keep the lid on you on a very small saucepan and wondering why you're made so meek, weak, and small, and why this is constantly, you're feeling this down, truncated version of your life. And it gets really, really not fun. It can become, so the footing is to recognize that your self-esteem must have an internal locus of control. In other words, it's based on care of and value of yourself, and it's not based on overworking, over-obligating in the care of others. It is to give that responsibility back to them. Here you go. You need to be responsible for yourself. I am not responsible for that. I have a very firm understanding of my energetic boundaries, my emotional boundaries, where I must give it and where I must stop. So it's a really important thing to see that, I would say, and to identify that you don't need to rescue others to fill yourself up. You are enough. And your value and self-esteem and your happiness and joy and your freedom and your ability to dance around or be happy or eat healthy and to stop all these negative feelings from plaguing you, catch it, that moment where it's about, no, that belongs over there. I'm not rescuing, I've done my duty. I've paid my dues. Whatever it is that you explain to yourself, I've already paid my dues. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, moving onward. And it's to realize that your self-esteem is based in within. It's a permission base. And if your caregivers or others have not reflected that within you, it's time for you to see it reflected in yourself, in all the beauty, joy, and strength, and security, and wonderful talents that are uniquely you are what it is about. That is what we're pulling out. And that is who you are to be, as big as you can, and as expansive in making choices, decisions. And when you are living in that energetic field, that's the quantum field, solutions, ideas will come to you. So that's when life gets exciting. Really, some people call it, enlightenment. When all of a sudden you begin to hear the inner voice. You are doing great. You are handsome. You are wonderful. I love you. You are loved. Your path is getting straight now. You begin to hear these internal voices. You begin to heal and feel healed and feel okay about it. That you don't have to go back and get burned by the critical others. You don't feel you want to go back to the familiar. You don't want to go back to the old blueprint. You've done enough time in the valley. You now want to go on other vistas. You want to now go into other environments, other cultures, other flora and fauna. You want to develop yourself in those areas, and you find yourself feeling and experiencing in those areas as well. So little things begin to come to you. I've always wanted to. I can do this now. These sorts of feelings, expressions, and decisions begin, you're like living in the quantum field and really in the solution, because many ideas and energies begin to open up. And you feel that you're entering into a new stage and feeling of your life. That is when you stop the rescuing and you're really kind of carrying your own weight, but your weight is very light. It is very manageable. It's not burdened. And you are not a burden. Hitherto, a lot of the narcissists or psychopaths might have expressed you as such, because that's how they manipulate and control, is by dimming your light. So you begin to say, I'm not carrying that anymore. I have completely disengaged from that. I'm, it's no thank you. I'm no thank you, and you walk away. You just exit, stage left. And if you can explain to them, I'm no longer being a scapegoat or a target for your toxic emotions, and then that is it. It's, 10 to 15 words, statement, not a question, and you're done. You're sealing your boundaries. You're sealing your standards. You're living in that. And when you do that, that's when you get to be then around. Life will bring to you, to your doorstep, opportunities for you to surround yourself with other high energy and higher standard people. So you become to be kind of this more refined, better person. You're growing inside. You become more professional. You become, you're earning more. You're around others who are more talented, more intelligent, more together. You're not with the crowd that's, trying to bash you. You're no longer open to that. You're no longer blown apart. You're no longer full of holes where you need to absorb others' negative energy to feel that you are your identity. Your identity begins to change. You become refined. And then your energy about you changes so that those negative people who need rescuing, you feel okay repelling. And they will be repelled by you because they can see that you are healed. This is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. And I hope that these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.